Hi, welcome to the Animating Student Organization in the New Normal webinar. My name is JC de Los Reyes, the moderator of Ateneo Junior Eagles here in Ateneo Dinagan University, and I'm excited to share with you the role of digital platform in continuing organization functions. With much of the world having to adopt work remotely, it can be hard to manage even a single team because of virtual distances. Student leaders might feel powerless to keep group active, dependable, and even productive, whether in school or working remotely. Distance working has its own set of challenges and even questions like what's the optimal way or to organize the necessary roles and responsibilities? Two, how do you get everyone working together? And third, what can you do to minimize this digital divide and prevent your remote team members from feeling isolated, disconnected, or FOMO? In order to be effective today, student leaders in organization must change how they engage, and in particular, how they establish maintain relationship with their members via digital platforms. While looking someone in the eye and shaking hands with members will never lose their value. They are no longer enough to sustain relationships in a fast moving digital world, especially during this time of crisis. One source of relief from the COVID 19 pandemic is that the collaboration technology needed for working is surprisingly ready for prime time. So let me share with you how my organization and I were able to thrive through a rapidly changing and unpredictable environment through these processes and the use of digital platforms. Number one, assess the benefits and challenges of remote work for each of your members. Remember, don't assume you all share the same understanding of how remote work may affect the team. By initiating group discussions, perhaps in your common free time, about what remote work means for everyone, you can help your members become more sympathetic and accommodating toward each other. And the good news is, you can make the session interactive through the use of Jamboard. It's one of the core services in the Google ecosystem. Jamboard is accessible anywhere there's an internet connection. From docs to sheets to slides to drives, it's easy and fast to pull the files you need and access all your team works. You can also brainstorm better with complete access to Google search. Just Google an image and paste it in your Jam. It's also easy to integrate with Google Hangouts and have another team join the Jam. This is a seamless process that allows everyone to brainstorm and collaborate together.
Hey everybody, welcome to the EdTech Show. I'm Dan Spada, and today I'm talking to you about Jamboard. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Jamboard. Now, if you don't know what Jamboard is, it's one of Google's newest products. It is a physical digital whiteboard. However, there's also a software that goes with it, which is available in the G Suite, and I've been using it in my classroom, and the students love it. So today I want to give you a quick overview and how I've been using it with my students. So to get to Google Jamboard, you can find it in your Google Apps if you scroll down, or you can just type in jamboard.google.com. And once you get there, to start a new jam, you click on this little plus sign in the bottom, and it will open up a new jam for you. So like most Google products, you can click in the top left-hand corner and rename your project. Now, it's important to note that you can use the Jamboard on a computer, a mobile device. You can use it on the physical Jamboard itself. Depending on the device you're using, it's going to change the functionality of some of the menu items. So, for instance, if you're using the pen or the marker, highlighter, paintbrush, it's obviously going to be much easier to write on if you have a physical device or if you've got a stylus. Right now, I'm using a mouse, so it's a little bit more difficult, but the kids seem to love it. So you can see that depending on what you're using, just like if you've ever used any kind of smart board or anything like that, it's very similar. You can change the colors. So if you go down to the color tablet, you can use blue, green, yellow, red, and then it just changes the color of the lines you're using. If you want to erase, you can click on the eraser, or there's a great function. If you click on the little arrow, you can erase the whole board and clear the board. You can click on the select tool, which we'll get to in a second. And then one of the students' favorite functions is the sticky note. And by clicking on the sticky note, it opens up this little menu where you can type in whatever it is that you want to write. And you can decide if you want it to be a yellow sticky note. You can choose any of the colors, or if you just want to write on the board, you can make it clear. So I'll show you the difference. This is a clear sticky note, and you can see once I select the select tool, I can move this around. I can change the size of it by clicking on the edge. I can rotate it, or I can click on the little menus here where I can edit. I can duplicate if I want another one, or I can just delete. So if I wanted to duplicate it, I can do that and move this. And now if I want to edit, I can change the color so I can turn it into a yellow sticky note so it kind of looks like a post-it. And again, I can click that, move it around. I can make it bigger or smaller. And you can keep duplicating them, changing colors, writing different things, however you want to do it. So let me clear the board so I can show you a couple other functions. One of the great things that Google just integrated is this add image. And when you click on that, it brings you right to a Google search. So if I was looking for something, and this is what was really cool, I saw my students do this the other day, is they typed in Venn diagram, because they were doing a project and they were trying to create their own Venn diagram and they couldn't quite get it. So they went into the Google image search and they found a Venn diagram in there, and they just made it the size of their board, and then they filled it up with different sticky notes, which I just thought was an incredible use of the tool. So what they did was they just kind of made it big like this, and then they went and they created a bunch of post-its. And they did, we'll just for the sake of this, we'll just put in a couple numbers here. And you can see they would then just move the post-its around so that they had what looked like their own Venn diagram. So the possibilities are endless. And that's one of the great things about this is if the students had this, like, all right, now we have to go on to the next thing. You can click up top here and create a new board by adding a frame. Now I've got a completely new, fresh board. So you don't have to worry about, like, if you were actually collaborating, taking a picture of something, because I can go back and forth and start a whole new thing. And that's one of the great things. I can now start with a clear board, and if I wanted to keep adding to it, I can just go back into add image. And let's say we wanted to do something on Paris. I can type in Paris, or if I had pictures in my Google Drive, I could pull from my Google Drive or my Google Photos. But in this case, we're just going to look for Paris. So we'll use this picture of the Eiffel Tower. We'll select, we'll bring it onto our jam. We'll move it around. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can write on the picture itself. So if I wanted to use, let's say, the pen, and I wanted to do it in red, I can write on here, or I could, draw images, kind of go over the two. And again, I can add more post-it notes. If I had the stylus, or if I was using a touchscreen, I could write with my finger. So the students can kind of go back and forth, or if you wanted to go to your previous one and see, you could go from frame to frame. And one of the really wonderful things that I love about this is, like the Google products, I can share this out and people can be working on it in real time. And whether they're on a Mac, a PC, a tablet, they can collaborate and we can see what each other is doing. And again, that's just how Google continues to expand the possibilities of what's able to happen in your classroom or in business. Two more things that I love about Jamboards. The first is that it's like all Google products, that it's constantly saving. So you never have to worry about losing any of your work or forgetting to save. The other thing that I really like a lot is in the top right-hand corner, next to the share button, these three dots. If you click on it, it gives you the options to save the frame as an image. So if you just wanted this picture, you could take a picture of this screen, or you could download it as a PDF. And this is super useful if you have students who are trying to submit this in Google Classroom, or if you wanted to share this with other teachers, or if you wanted to use like one of these frames in a presentation, say in a Google Slides, you could save it as an image and then insert it into that. So I showed you that you can go in between frames by clicking on these arrows. However, if you click on the expand frame bar, one of the options that you can do is by clicking on the top right hand corner is to duplicate the slide. So if you wanted to duplicate this slide that you already worked on so you can just make some modifications, clicking on duplicate will open up another slide that will give you the chance to operate on that one without affecting the first one. So as Google continues to update the Jamboard software, I'm excited to see where they're ultimately going with this. Now, I shared with you a couple ways that my students are using this in the classroom, but if your students are using this, or if you have other ideas, please share them in the comment section below or tweet at me at Dan Spada. And if you found this video to be helpful, please consider sharing it with friends, colleagues, or anybody who might find Jamboard to be a helpful tool. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, and for more information, please visit danielspada.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Number 2. Decide who will facilitate during your virtual meetings. Virtual meetings are often rife with technical glitches and frustrating delays, whether you're utilizing Zoom, Google Meet, Facebook Messenger, Viber, Skype, and other video conference tools. By becoming an active facilitators or assigning the role to someone else on the team, you can keep these troublesome issues from derailing your meetings and causing level friction to build up. Now, focus on the issues specific to the virtual interactions. Number 1, set up and test technology before the meeting and act as a fixer when technical issues arise. For example, as soon as you hear audio feedback, remind people to mute their microphones. 2, explain and interpret for member what's happening in the room that they can perceive. Simple comments like, Angela is nodding in vigorous agreement, or Kiana just drew a 2x2 matrix or whiteboard, will help them keep up with the flow of the meeting. Number 3, ask follow-up questions to ensure everyone speaks. This is critical, and it's hard to do. It requires knowing which questions are relevant for which team members. It also requires keeping track of who hasn't expressed anything yet and who are dominating the conversations in the meeting. Number 4, set some ground rules. Let your team know that you'd like them to speak out and be part of the conversation, and use the chat icons. Number 5, use the camera. Create a culture when everyone is expected to join virtual meetings with video on. Even if your collocated people are in the same room, this approach lets the members connect with each of the members and see each other's responses and even facial expressions. Remember, working remotely means you have less face-to-face contact with your co-members. Facial expressions, tone, mood are essential parts of communications. So having video calls, whenever possible, instead of simply phone calls, is something your team should prioritize. Now let's go to the third process. Nurture conversation to engage your member or participants. It has been realized that engaging attendees consistently comes up as one of the leading challenges in running effective remote meetings. Fortunately, there are endless suggestions and tips for resolving this concern. Like, it includes assigning each participant a role to play in the meeting, such as timekeeper, scribe, can be rotated around the team. Also, different people can facilitate different paths for the virtual meeting. And third, encourage healthy discussions more often by posing questions and asking for comments or some of the engagement interaction that makes a meeting lively. Make sure that everyone has a chance to provide his or her point of view. So make your meeting interactive using virtual polls with Like Mentimeter is one of the way to do this. You can do even better when you allow people to join in the conversation.
Mentimeter is an easy-to-use, powerful interactive presentation tool. All you have to do is create a question, then press present. The audience then uses their smart device to enter the presentation code and submit their answer. With Mentimeter, you get unbiased results visualized in a way that encourages reflection and sparks discussion.
Remember, running effective virtual meeting is all about getting all parties involved in the discussion. If you want them to digest the information that they are presented, they have to be engaged with the discussion that takes place. The effectiveness of each meeting often boils down to planning and preparation. Planning how you will facilitate engagement and give people the chance to express their opinions will be the defining factor in how well each meeting goes. And lastly, use the most suitable technology. Whether it's a video conference or a collaboration project, there's a wide selection of technology tools that can help you conduct productive and efficient virtual meetings. The key is determining which of these tools are the right for your team. When choosing tools, ask yourself, what is the key functionality my virtual meetings needs to be successful? For example, do you need everyone to work collaboratively on a document at the same time? Then Google Docs is the likely solution. Do you need team members to view a demo in real time? Then screen sharing software is for you.
Google Docs lets you create, share, and collaborate on documents online. Instead of creating a document, sending it as an attachment, receiving multiple revisions, and then having to merge edits, with Google Docs, everyone works on the same version in real time. And Google Docs just got better with rebuilt editors for documents, spreadsheets, and drawings, designed to improve collaboration, increase speed, and create richer documents. Google Documents have much better import fidelity, making it easier to move your documents into the cloud. We've also added tab stops, a ruler to control margins in a document, and improved how images interact within documents. The comment system makes it easy to add, reply, and move comments around in a document. And collaboration now happens in real time. You can see what others are typing with no need to refresh the page or wait, reducing confusion and saving you time. We've also made some big improvements to Google Spreadsheets. Now you can edit a cell from the formula bar, use autofill, drag and drop columns, and navigate easily between sheets. Significant speed and performance improvements make spreadsheets load faster and scrolling seamless. And as always, real-time collaboration, chat, and cell presence work for many people at once. We've also added a standalone editor for drawings to Google Docs. It's easy to make charts, diagrams, and other schematics. As with Google Docs and spreadsheets, you can also chat while you collaborate on drawings. We hope these improvements to Google Docs help you and your teams be more productive. To try them out or to learn more, visit docs.google.com.
Remember, ensure you are comfortable with the technical functionality of your platform and you are well practiced in its use. When you exude confidence during facilitation, your participants will feel much more at ease. In summary, by following these suggestions, you should be able to reduce stress, increase productivity, and create an element of fun at your next meeting. Allow me to share with you a video of one of our projects in Ateneo Junior Eagles, which we have conceptualized and planned for all via virtual means. Again, never neglect the opportunity to improve. Every one of us is a work in progress. Embrace the process.